Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Road to Greatness, episode 22. I told you it would be a leg session, and instead, we're going to run through my pull day. So, going to look at all things when it comes to what I do for my back, my biceps, my rear delts, and without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so pull session time. Let's get into it, starting with our pull up. So, medium neutral grip here, very much a lat focus. And I'm thinking more about driving my elbows down rather than trying to pull myself up. I got to say, neutral grip chin up is probably one of my all-time favorite movements. So yeah, it's been good to be able to run this again after a couple years of not doing them. And I mean, I started with assisted chin ups, and now we're doing 15 kilos weighted. So lovely stuff. After that, though, after 3 sets of pull-ups, move on to a chest supported row. And this is more of a trap and mid-back focus, seeing how we started with lats. And again, the big cue here is driving my elbows back. I'm not too fast if my chest comes off the bench, because extending through my spine and reaching to get a full contraction, for me, really rinses my traps and my mid-back of everything that they're worth. So probably got a couple more reps in the tank here, and that will more than likely, that's us there. Yeah, we're cooking now. That's us done. There's no way I go, oh, I went again. There you go. So that last rep was maybe a half rep, we'll see. After that, though, move on to a cable lat row. This is essentially a horizontal counterpart to the pull up. So I elevate my hips to get a bit more of a lean happening and really be able to drive my elbows into that pocket of the hip. Focus here is completely mechanical tension, just really trying to rinse my lats of everything that they've got left in them, making sure to get that stretch at the very end. That's my last rep there, always going for that little quarter, and we're done. From here, moving on to a single arm dumbbell row, and this is very much grip and rip, rinsing whatever's left of my lats and traps, my back as a whole, really. So again, big focus is trying to drive my elbow to the ceiling rather than trying to rotate the dumbbell up. And I really love this setup with one foot on the floor, my other side, forearm and knee on a bench. I find that really works well for me. And here's a clip of the other side as well, doing the same thing. And you see, I'm really rounding out my thoracic spine at the top, letting my scap go into full protraction like a weighted stretch before driving back up. And I find that to be really, really effective for getting a stimulus, except for now when it starts to look like I'm trying to start a lawnmower. But we can certainly work with that, work on that over the next couple of weeks. From there, let's do some bicep work. So I'm a big fan of an easy bar curl, and this is just a nice intro into my bicep work, being very mid-range dominant when it comes to strength curves. This is also a lower rep range, so it's a good degree of tension in my biceps, and you find I'm not coming all the way up. I sort of stop a little bit short just to make sure I'm not giving myself the chance to rest at the top, or allow my elbows to come forward too much as I perform this movement. But overall, I'm quite chuffed with how this went. That is my last rep there, taking the time to work through that. Beauty, done. Superset with that, I do a single arm cable half kneeling rear delt fly. So cuffed, of course, and I'm actually pulling down on a 45-degree angle. That's why the cable is a bit higher than my eye level, and I find this really gets my rear delts lighting up on fire. I do get a little bit of mid trap as well, but as a whole, it's a really good rear delt movement. After I do those two things, we move on to some dumbbell hammer curls, and I do like to supinate at the top. I find that feels much better than keeping the dumbbell in a neutral position. Um, a bit of a high incline for the bench, but overall, this feels really nice to me. And I've run dumbbell hammer curls for probably the past close to over 3 years now. I've run dumbbell hammer curls, so yeah, no questions from me. But paired with them, after we've done this set, and typically it's around 12 to 15 reps, sometimes maybe more, we move on to a cable ab crunch. On this day, compared to my leg day, I'm more focused on spinal flexion, so getting all the way elbows to knees rather than getting a full stretch at the top. No reason then, well, I just want to rinse my abs of everything they got, get a nice contraction like we are using the stack and some there. So, yeah, and I'll go for 10 to 20 reps here. But that wraps out our pull session. Thank you very much for tuning in.